Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe and Sweet Callie, and today I'm going to talk about how often should I do physical therapy exercises. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. So one of the biggest questions you all ask me is how often should I do these exercises, or how many reps, how many sets? And so really the first question is, what are reps, sets, and frequency? So frequency is how often you should do the exercises. A rep is I'm doing one curl, that's a rep. And then the set is how many reps I'm doing. So if you're doing 10 reps 3 different times, that would be 10 reps, 3 sets. And so sounds a little bit confusing, but it's not too much. But the answer to that is not as easy as it sounds. So the American College of Sports Medicine has some recommendations for exercising, and usually their recommendations are 4 to 6 reps if you're looking to actually strengthen those muscles or hypertrophy, get those muscles bigger and stronger. 8 to 12 reps is just for general strengthening. I know. And 10 to 15 reps is usually more for muscular endurance. But those are based upon if you're just exercising in general, and if you don't have an injury or something like so. If you have an injury, doing therapeutic exercises is very different. And so the real answer is however often your physical therapist tells you to do it. But I want to give you some guidelines. I'm going to just do it shorter and quicker, but I'm going to have a blog that goes into a little more detail if you're interested in it. So the biggest thing is if you want to check out the blog, make sure and check out the link in the description below. But the biggest thing is really with therapy exercises, you're not trying to bulk up those muscles. You're trying to retrain those muscles. So you really should be doing your therapy exercises every day. And you can do those exercises anywhere from 1 to 3 times a day. My personal preference is break it up to 2 to 3 times a day, but do less time. One of the biggest reasons I hear people say I can't do my home exercise program is because I don't have 30 to 40 minutes at one time to do my exercises. Well, do you have 5 to 10 minutes to take care of yourself? I hope that you do. So just do shorter time, once in the morning, maybe once during lunch, and once in the evening. 5 minutes. You can do different stretches and exercises. You don't have to do the same ones each time, so that will help kind of keep those muscles working and not plateau out. But as far as reps and sets, it's really dependent on a couple things that is specific to the person. So one of the biggest things is how long have you had the injury? Is it acute? Is it a chronic one? That makes a difference. What is your specific injury? You know, a lot of times on the rotator cuff exercises, people will say, you know, how many am I supposed to do? But with a rotator cuff injury, it can be many different things in your shoulder. So what is your specific injury? Also, are you on any precautions? So if you've had a surgery or something where you're not supposed to do certain things, that makes a difference as well. And then the biggest one that your therapist is really going to help you figure out is how is your body reacting or responding to those exercises. So all those make a difference. And I know that's not really probably the answer you want to hear when you're watching this video or reading the blog, but there are some guidelines that I use for my patients that might help you out. So the first one is exercises should be done 10 to 20 reps. And so if you can do something 20 to 25 times and you're really not having any fatigue at all, you probably need to bump up your resistance. So if you're using resistive bands and you're getting to 25 and you're like, whoa, this is really easy, then make sure you're bumping up that resistance on the resistive band. Also, if you're doing your exercises and you can no longer do it correctly, then you don't want to do anymore. So if you get to 5 reps and you're doing a bicep curl and all of a sudden you're having to lift your whole body to get that bicep curl up, then you need to stop, because if you're not using correct technique or correct form, you need to stop doing that. So really you don't want to sacrifice that quality over the quantity. So make sure that you're not doing that, because then you're probably going to injure yourself more. So the next one is sets. Sets can be anywhere from 1 to 3. And so that is really dependent on how many you're able to do at a time. So again, that goes back to the reps. If I'm only able to do 5 reps at a time, maybe I want to do 3 sets of those. But if I'm doing 15 to 20 reps, you might only need to do 1 or 2 sets depending on how it's feeling. So that can be a little bit dependent as well. A good general rule for reps, and what I'll often tell my patients, instead of saying do 3 sets of 10 reps, I'll say, as long as you're not going over that 20 to 25, do as many as you comfortably can. So let's say you get to 15 and you're starting to fatigue. They're starting to get hard to do. If you can do 2 more with correct form, then try and do that. But again, you don't want to sacrifice form and you don't really want to go over 25. And this is, again, my personal opinion. You might hear different stuff wherever you go. Stretching should always be held for 30 seconds. That's just, again, my general rule. I feel like that 30 seconds hold is really going to let those muscles relax and release. And some research goes behind things called GTOs, the Golgi tendon organs, which it takes that 30 seconds for those to release and have the muscles stretch. So my opinion then is, the gold standard is doing 30 seconds 3 times, but if you really don't have time to do all those stretches 3 times each, do at least 30 seconds. Don't try and do 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. If you only have time for that 30 seconds, doing it 1 or 2 times, then do that. I know, is this getting crazy? Oh, what? Yeah. And then so finally, the other one is to really give yourself a break in between each set. So if you're doing a set, take a break. Don't just sit there and go through all of them. Sometimes people will say that, can I just do all of the reps instead of breaking it up? I really think you need to give yourself a break in between those sets just to let your muscles relax and reset. So again, that sounds like a lot. Once you get it down, it's not that hard, but you really should go see a physical therapist, even if it's just once or twice, to get that guidance, because everybody is different. So when you ask those questions, how many should I do? It's really not a question I can answer because I haven't evaluated you and I don't know what's going on. Those are some guidelines, but again, go talk to your physical therapist because they're going to be able to help you figure that out. So if you'd like to help support my channel, make sure and click on the link up there. And don't forget to subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed already, click that button and make sure, click the bell so you get recognition, so you get notifications every time I have something come out. And if you have a question or a comment, make sure and either tell me you subscribed or make your subscription public so I can see it. And remember, be safe. That's right. Make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. Have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.